I love our opening theme song.
But we always look like we're swimming under the sea or something, you know?
Like, what was his name? Sebastian in the Little Mermaid.
Sebastian and Ariel and Ray. You think they're all gonna like come by because you and I are swimming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart.
And I am Tym Moss. Hi.
Hey, Tim. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm actually very good. I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
Well, because you've been rehearsing your butt off.
I've been rehearsing. I've been performing. I've been entertaining guests from out of town and all kinds of stuff here. Yeah.
That's for Tim. He does it all of it.
Well, but again, not nearly as much as Wendy. Jeez.
Well, you know what? It is. Listen, we do what we love. We're performers. We love doing it. And when people come in from out of town, we love taking them around and showing them New York, our city, do or die. But this past weekend, I was in Milford, Pennsylvania. Right. They have a very big film festival, the Black Bear Film Festival. And I do all the interviews for the filmmakers, the producers, the actors, the casting directors. The thing I love the most about that is every person you sit down with tells you the truth. You never get people over a concentrated 3 days where you can talk to them about their film. You get to screen the film and then get, really honest feedback about some of the things that we feel about the industry, So, kind of one-stop shopping. Of course, the parties. Okay. We all know I love to party. The parties were like, I got to lead a conga line at one of the parties. You have a couple of drinks, Tim, you leading up those conga lines. But I'm excited because I'm coming to see Tim here Friday night.
Right. Yes, Friday night at Pangea
TV. And you are going to be performing with Aris Ziagos and our wonderful friend
Alex Skelso,
who I only know is Tanya Face. That was on the tip of my mind. I'm like, what is his real name? And Natalia.
Yeah, Natalia McCarty.
Natalia, and they're all, I got to tell you, everyone, it's sketch comedy, and they are all extremely funny people. So if you can come Friday night, we'd love to see your sweet faces. We know.
We have fun. It's 9:30 this Friday, the 20th, at Pangea.
Yep.
On 11th and 2nd Avenue.
Be there or be square. Yay!
Right.
And speaking of Pangea, we also have coming up Clay Woman, who's been on the show. And that night, I love Clay Woman. That'll be on the 22nd, along with Murray Hill. How is that for double billing? Like Clay Woman and Murray Hill? Right? So you want to be the fly on the wall for that one, or at least be in the audience. And then on the 27th, we have here Enough of the Blues, Don Arrington's show. And I have a doubleheader that night because before that show, on October 27th at the Triad, is Dorothy Bishop's Dozen Divas. And our guest today is connected to that show, but we'll talk about that more later. And then afterward, I'll be shooting over to Pangea. I'm going to need my rollerblades on that night to catch Don Arrington in Enough of the Blues. So it's a packed schedule, and we haven't even hit Halloween, Tym Moss. Oh,
yes, right. No, I saw Don's show last weekend.
You did,
Saturday.
Yeah.
Amazing. You are going to love that show.
Wait.
He does all these different characters, and the depth of those characters and the stories that he has developed with them are just amazing. I was literally like laughed. I had tears rolling down my cheeks from laughing so hard at one character, and the very next one, I'm in tears of sadness.
Again,
he's just amazing. His presentation, he's just
he's a terrific storyteller too, and a seasoned actor. And again, we've had a lot of these people on the show. Isn't that great that we get to like interview them, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, Tim,
Also, my dear friend from Philadelphia, Nathan James, had come in. He was speaking at a conference out on Long Island. And so he just crashed at my place on, I think it was Friday night. Yeah, Friday night into Saturday. So I got to hang out and see him, which was great. It's always fun to see Nathan. And
don't you have a fashion show coming up, Tim?
A fashion show?
A doggy fashion show?
Oh, yes. That's next Sunday, the 22nd. The 22nd. I'm hosting Pauloween, like paw, like a dog's paw.
I totally love that. Like PAW, a ween.
Halloween. Yeah. And yeah, it's a doggy costume contest. So
are you going to get to judge the dogs, Tim? You'll be judging.
I don't know. I hope not, because I don't like judging. I want them all to win. Especially if he licks my face or something. I'm like, this is the winner. He licks my face. This one is a winner. And
in Tim's real life, you lick his face, you're a winner.
Yes, right. That's my philosophy of life.
That's the well, I hope our friend Albert C. Pena brings his dog Chewy. Albert's in the Bronx, and Chewy is an adorable Chihuahua mix, and he's all over Facebook all the time. So we're excited. I hope he brings Chewy.
Yes. And I also want to welcome all the viewers from Big O who are here. They're off to the side here on I'm streaming with Big O too. So
I love it. So they're out there in the metaverse.
Yes, out in the metaverse.
This is so multiple metaverses today. My God, Tim, we're so high tech. We never did that before.
All the universes are colliding. Yeah, and I learned this from my friend Lola Bastonado, who I'm co-host. We shot last week with a comedy sex show out in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, right. And I love her. She's great.
So she had recommended it and kind of got me into it. So yeah, we'll see. I'm just trying it all.
You're just doing it all. Well, before I bring on our fabulous guest that I got to see in Dorothy Bishop's show, and is such an incredibly seasoned actor. I have to share with you, just in case you see it on social media, my picture is up as a dog napper. I made the mistake of sharing a picture of a dog my friend had found in Carbondale, Pennsylvania. And where I go on the weekends, Milford is a wonderful creative town, but we also have another element, and I'll just put it like that. And I went on one of their sites because a lot of people belong to it. And I put up the picture of the dog saying my friend found it in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, and it was up for adoption. I have never been so attacked in my entire life. They threatened to call the dog warden.
That my God.
$10,000 fine. Okay. And then they reposted it. Okay. With my information saying Wendy Stuart and her friends have kidnapped a dog.
Oh my God.
So the insanity
They've got nothing better to do.
And then people have nothing better to do. And I was only trying to do something good. And long story short, my amazing friend he followed all the rules, reported the dog missing with the police, and ended up taking the day off of work 2 days later to interview people because he couldn't keep the dog, found a wonderful family. Both the people are vets and they've got great kids. And she went to a wonderful home. So happily ever after. All of my stories have happy endings. With that, I leave you with, have you seen my picture up there? I didn't take no dog. It wasn't.
Wendy, now you can add that to your list of
dog
yeah.
So
dog
anyway, my guest today is what I call the quintessential working actor who splits their time between musicals, cabarets, and concert dates. 75 musicals under their belt. I bet you it's even more than that if we really start counting them. Award-winning celebrity impersonator and portrayal of Dame Edna Everage has taken him all over the country on tour and to Canada. And of course, let's throw the beloved Jackie Gleason in there. And while we're at it, Santa Claus, with Christmas being around the corner. Put your hands together for Michael L. Walters. Yes. Come on, slide on. Right, we're going to do the slide as we do.
There he is. Doing the slide. Slide a little bit more. Slide over a little more.
I don't bite.
No, there you go.
Not toxic.
No, she doesn't bite. She just talk now.
I used to be friends with that baloney on Facebook, but I think I lost it. Friend me again, honey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. My dear friend Michael Luisi is on there too. And we get people that jump in the middle of the show. So hello, everybody. How are you? This is
Michael.
Guest.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Well,
I'm so sorry I couldn't be there in person with you today.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I'm used to it these days with everybody all over the place.
I'm used to it. I don't want to see you in person. I only want to see you streaming. Oh my God, what a great name for a movie. I only want to see you streaming. It could go either way. It could be like
a horror movie.
Or be a horror movie. So Halloween is right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Are you excited?
I'm excited as I can be, because Halloween is almost every day at my house.
Is it really?
I agree.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be Santa Claus one day or Dame Edna one day, or
true. That's
you know,
right.
so it's every day's dress up day.
Every day.
I was just telling my roommate last night, before she left. She went out to Arizona today, but I was just telling her last night that I said Halloween for me is usually it's a night off, because I basically dress up and have costumes and wear in shows all year long. I always take Halloween and I'm just like, I'll let the rest of the world just dress up tonight.
Let them dress up. Give them their every dog has its day. Give them their day.
Oh God, no kidding.
But you have the amazing Dozen Divas show coming up
Yes,
Friday night.
on October the 27th.
Yes.
I'm appearing for the 3rd year as Dame Edna.
At 7 o'clock.
And yes, we know Dame Edna's dead, but I am...
okay, but wait, I shared this with Michael. I came to Dorothy's last show. I had a couple of cocktails, true. Michael was brilliant as Dame Edna. So when it was over, I said to everybody, I said, my God, you know, I'm so excited. All these years I've heard about Dame Edna, and I finally got to see her. I'm like, and she doesn't age. Her skin is so beautiful and everything. They said to me, Wendy, Dame Edna has been dead for years. I'm like,
no, just this last year.
Well, it was just this past year, but I had no idea.
Yeah.
And you are so totally convincing. You are. You just like. So I'm glad, you know what? I'm glad that Dame Edna is living on through you. There's something to be said.
I am too.
Thank you.
I am too.
It's a lot of fun. It is. It's one of these things where I started doing it quite by accident, and then one thing led to another, and here I am impersonating her in Mexico, Canada, all over the US.
Great story. But how did that happen? I love these stories.
How did you get all these bookings?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing a murder mystery dinner theater in Orlando, Florida. I was living in Orlando.
And they have so many.
And there's always a guy in drag. There's you can't help it, because that's just the way those murder mysteries are. And so I wound up getting this one character that they had been trying to work with several different actors to see who could make it work. And this character was a Julia Child-like cooking show host that
fabulous
had basically panic attacks whenever someone mentioned the word blood.
Blood.
And, blood. Oh, and so I said, they said, would you like to try it? And I said, sure. And they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, can you get me a purple wig and some cat glasses? And that's what I started doing. And my first attempts at the character were dreadful. And then as I moved on, I started getting videotapes of the TV shows that she did. And
watching the videos.
I'm watching the videos, and little by little, my voice came about, and I was able to get I found my voice, and I was able to get the accent somewhat down. And and I wound up doing the character, and people started coming to these shows and saying, you know, we have a red carpet thing that we want.
It's perfect.
Would you be willing to do that? And I was like, sure, why not? And so I literally started making money doing this character that wasn't mine. And
started in dinner theater. She was born in dinner theater.
Born in dinner theater.
Wow.
Some people are born in a trunk. I was born in dinner theater.
And great story.
So that was the way that all started.
How long did it take you to really get it? Like from the time you conceived the Dame to, you know, when you were really getting bookings, how long a process was it?
It was a couple of years. It really was a couple of years just to get it.
Be learned.
And also not only just watching the videotapes, but also getting the costumes right, the hair right, the glasses.
Right.
Well, and she's also got facial feature, like when she, you know, she
does right, Tim. Yeah, you've got them all down, all the nuances.
It's very funny because you watch it and you practice in front of a mirror. You do whatever you have to do to make it work, and that's what I did. And then eventually, a friend of mine, I'd never seen Dame Edna live, and she was on a tour, and I finally met Barry Humphries, the creator of Dame Edna. And I brought pictures of myself in the costume. He said, "I wish you nothing but the best." And
that's cool.
He was lovely.
Right. And
lovely.
You know what? It's advertising for Dame Edna. You weren't trying to like,
no,
knock her out.
Absolutely. Now I have to, go ahead.
No. I was just saying it was just one of those situations where I felt incredibly blessed to have his blessing.
No, that's absolutely. Because there was no guarantee of that
No,
either.
no.
You could have said, "I'm going to sue you if you don't stop this," right?
But I have to tell you, I saw her, I think it was back in the 90s on Broadway.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I have never seen a more hysterical show. Literally, there was at one point where I was almost, I thought about having to leave the theater because I was laughing so hard. And I was afraid I was going to lose control of all bodily functions. I was laughing that hard.
Well, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Hysterical. And I hope you have do you have the gladiolas in the whole bed?
Oh, yes, we have the glads. Yeah. Now, I won't for the Halloween show because finding them is a pain in the butt. And
yes, right.
Yeah, we're not in gladiola
season, which is funny because they grow year round if you find the right.
I thought though in the show I saw you in, there was reference to the gladiolas.
There is reference to it.
Were they faux gladiolas?
Yeah, they were.
Okay, so you could get faux gladiolas. Yeah, it's great.
They're just expensive to throw out to an audience.
Yes, right. I would imagine. I
totally love that you do this kind of thing, and then you have a whole range of characters that you do.
I've been doing that since I was a kid. I literally was I was a child that was babysat by the television. And so
craving attention.
Exactly. I was babysat by the TV, and I would watch things. I would impersonate, what I heard. And so I started off as a little miniature Rich Little and was doing voices from the time I was a little kid.
What did your family
I would no
idea what to think.
They had not.
I would imagine that you probably had all of Carol Burnett's characters down.
What was that, Tim?
Sorry.
I imagine that you probably had all of Carol Burnett's characters down.
Oh yeah, of course.
Some of them, because I've always laughingly said that my mother and grandmother are Eunice and Mama.
Yeah.
Well, your grandmother, Tim, this is like the most interesting. I love these little factoids. Your grandmother.
I wanted to go back all the way back to when you were born. Tell us about when you were born.
From DNA up until now.
We take it from the beginning on this show. We want it all.
Well,
I love it.
I was born in Hope, Arkansas, in 1971, July 25th, 1971. And my grandmother delivered me. And my grandmother delivered three notable people. She delivered me, and she was most proud of that. She delivered Mike Huckabee, which she did not talk about. She did not like talking about that.
Wait a minute. I see. I didn't read that in your bio. She delivered you didn't put it in there.
No, I didn't put it in there because she didn't like to talk about that. She delivered Mike Huckabee, and she also delivered President Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. I love that.
She was like the Uber midwife.
No. She was a nurse. She was a nurse.
Okay. Yeah. We call them now nurse midwives, right? So everybody went to her.
Yeah.
Any notable, right?
At the hospital, she was the delivery nurse, and
I love that she delivered.
So she jokingly said that, and of course she said this on television on the evening news when Bill Clinton was reelected. They went live to Hope, Arkansas, to the election party. And my grandmother was interviewed by satellite with Dan Rather. And she said on television, and I literally put my head down. She said, "He told me I was the first person to spank his butt, but I wasn't the last."
Oh! She said that.
She did.
Oh my God, I love that.
She was not
a pistol. She was not.
No, but she was a pistol.
Yeah, she was. She was.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hysterical.
How incredible. So what was it like for you growing up in Hope, Arkansas, doing these impersonations and being this out there kid?
Yeah, I grew up in Magnolia, Arkansas, which is about 50 miles of Magnolia. What a lovely southern
Magnolia
and
trees.
Yeah, I grew up in that town, which their idea of culture was a cup of yogurt. And that was, I didn't know what what to do, and my parents didn't know what to do. My father was a hunter, fisher, gatherer. You know, he was he was a salesman, and my dad spent his weekends and whatever other time he could in the forest trying to kill Bambi. And
so he really was a hunter.
And as for me, you know, I had no interest in that.
No,
I had none. And of course, that was, you know, my father, you know, would take me out and practice shooting with his shotgun. And I, like an idiot, put the butt of the gun up to my face. Like Elmer friggin' Fudd.
Oh my God.
And the gun kicked and blackened my eye. And
you were so lucky.
And I threw, well, no, it was just the shoulder butt.
Oh, the butt. The butt. I thought you meant turned it around the other way.
And so, of course, I threw the gun down, and my father was more upset about me throwing the gun down than he was.
What kind of man are you? You could have shot a deer. What's wrong with you, Michael? Wow.
So that was really the that was sort of my childhood.
Were there more kids in the family that kind of?
No, I was the only child.
Oh, so now, this is really something. The only child of parents that are different from, you know.
What about? I mean, it sounds. I'm guessing that he was probably more of a fit in that area than you were.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What was it like at? What was it like at school? Because I'm guessing you were like I was, where you just wanted to sing.
Yeah, I wanted to perform, and of course that made me the oddball, and there were no outlets really. So my mother put me in the children's choir at the Methodist Church.
Oh, good for nice. Your mom was sensitive.
She knew, and so that was kind of a. That was sort of my I wouldn't say coming out party because that took a long time. But that was my it was a release for me. It really was something that I could
in a way it's almost like you found home. You found a home.
Right.
That feeling,
And it took a long time for me to get into a place where I could perform, and that was in you know, my favorite story to tell is I was in 9th grade and I skipped high school football practice to go and audition for the school musical, Bye Bye Birdie.
Right.
And of course, you know, no father is ever more thrilled than to hear you say, I skipped football practice to audition for the musical.
It's Bye Bye Birdie, for God's sakes. It's Bye Bye Birdie.
You could get a kid disowned.
Exactly. And so my father was not thrilled to put it mildly.
But you got a role.
Oh yeah.
Who did you?
I played Albert. I was the lead.
All right.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed doing that. That was something that was a release.
Place, of course.
That was the happy place, and it took a long time to find the happy place. You know,
right?
But you were lucky, considering the part of the country you were in, that you were able to be in a play.
Yep.
And I'm sure you met other kids that were similar to you,
performers. Somewhat, yeah. And
you know,
it was one of the situations where we moved away from Arkansas and went to Oklahoma. Ooh, big step.
Oh my God. And, it's like what I call a lateral.
Exactly. But except we were in Oklahoma City, which is that's different, a little more metropolitan.
Right.
And there were theater programs in the schools, which there were not in Arkansas.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah. And so we had a really interesting journey to get me involved in things like that, because my father wanted me to play football. He wanted, wanted the traditional,
right.
Can I ask what took you from there to Oklahoma? What took your parents there?
My father, it was during the oil boom in Oklahoma, and my father left being a salesman and went and worked in mud and fracking, but we know all about that these days, but they didn't back in the early 80s. No idea. And he was in all of those things and worked with oil and exploration companies.
All that manly stuff. It was the manly men. God, and there you were in Bye Bye Birdie.
And there I was in Bye Bye Birdie, But years later, when we moved back to Arkansas, my father and his second wife, we moved back to Arkansas. My father was working for another company because the oil boom went bust.
Right,
and,
as we know,
as it always seems to. And so we went back to Arkansas, and we're living in Little Rock, which fortunately was a little bit more. Yeah, that's a little bit more cosmopolitan. And so we. I was involved in
Were you still in school at this time? Were you still in
I was still in school. I was still in school.
Okay.
I was like a junior in high school.
Okay.
And I started a community theater in Little Rock.
You started it.
I started a community theater.
As a teenager.
Yep,
That's
as a teenager.
impressive.
And it was such a big deal because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I just basically said, I'll get the money through donations. And I did. I went with a cup in my hand to different businesses in the area.
But that's it. That's getting sponsors. You knew how to do it. Yeah.
That's how we were
early
doing
on
it.
in the game.
And so we wound up doing how to succeed in business without really trying.
How to apply for a job.
Exactly. We wound up doing how to succeed in business without really trying. And then we did Little Abner the next year.
Love it.
And Little Abner, which is like watching a family photo album for most of the people. But you know, that's the way it is. And so I went back to Magnolia, Arkansas, where there was a college, Southern Arkansas University, and I got my degree in theater there.
Did they have a good theater department?
They had a good theater department.
Cool.
I got to do a lot of wonderful roles there. And stuff I would never get to do again these days. I did Man of La Mancha, playing Don Quixote, which, I mean, these days it would be the man who ate La Mancha. And I did Tevye and Fiddler. I mean, I got to do a lot of things. You know,
right.
And it was a real blessing. I was very fortunate. I really was. Despite the bad times, I was really, really lucky.
But again, what you're showing us is your performance got you through it. You know, got you through it.
It saved my life.
It saved your life. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Two things. One is you kind of went past the part about your mother. You had went to Oklahoma City, and then he moved back.
My parents divorced when we moved to Oklahoma. Very shortly thereafter, and my father remarried, and my mother remarried years later when I was in college. And
how was all of that?
Yeah,
for you during that time.
Delightful.
Really? It was delightful.
No, that was said dripping with sarcasm.
I could feel the sarcasm.
Dripping with sarcasm. It was not. It was not the best time of my life. I'll put it.
And you're an only child. That's a
being
biggie,
an only child. But my father, when he remarried, he married a woman with two very small children.
Wow.
And hello. So it was a
blended family.
It was a blended family.
Did you get along with your step siblings?
Well, no, because my father was able to mold and shape them into the Hunter Fisher.
Right, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, so they were on the sports teams. But you would think at least he got that satisfied, right, with these two kids. So, right, you could go
now. My other question is that something that you kind of touched on was coming out. Like under those circumstances, Oklahoma City, all of this. When did you start to question your sexuality and?
Very, very early on, to be frank with you, but it took until I was 30 years old.
Wow.
And I did not come out until I was 30. As a matter of fact, the reason I did was because I was doing Alban in La Cage aux Folles at a dinner theater. It's always a dinner theater in Orlando. Another dinner theater, another goddamn dinner theater. And
50 people eating like you're performing, like
300 people going, God damn it, what does he say?
Yeah, the silverware clanging.
Can you pass me the salt, please?
Goddamn dress.
Right.
And so anyhow, I wound up doing the character, and my mother was coming to see it, and I had denied to her many times, and she was bringing my grandmother, the grandmother that delivered Bill Clinton. And in a long story short, I realized that I could not stand on a stage and sing I Am What I Am in front of my mother and grandmother and lie to them.
Wow. That's a big epiphany.
Wow.
And
a lot of pressure.
So I basically, I sent my mother a copy of The Birdcage. They got it from a video store or something like that, and they watched it, and I told them, which part are you playing? Oh God, it's the one in the dress, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And but it wasn't a big shock. And when I finally did come out to my mother, she was like, well, hell, I knew all along.
Mothers know.
Yeah.
And your mother supported you from the beginning.
Yes.
She got you in choir.
My mother never missed a performance if she could help it.
She knew. Right. What about grandma, though?
My grandmother was there with her beside my mother at every performance.
Wow, cool.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
And my father did as much as he could.
Right.
He came to as many as he could.
But thank you for saying that, as many as he could.
That was
big for him.
Yeah,
right?
it was a step for him.
Yeah.
It was definitely a process.
I'm sure that was difficult for him. But
right.
I think so. I think it was more difficult than pardon me for just a second. I'm blind.
That's okay. I am too. We can put our glasses on.
We can put our glasses on together.
I lost you. You took your glasses off. I can't see you.
That was a real adventure for me. It's a real, just to try and, maintain a relationship with my father. And my father is these days is wonderful. And as God forbid, I even invoke his name, but Bill Cosby used to say, this is not my father. This is an old man trying to get into heaven.
Oh, but you know what? That's a happy ending.
It is a happy ending.
Great?
It is. And the funny thing is that my father, when I finally did come out to him, and I never had a conversation with him, he just knew,
Right.
And he met my partner, who I've been with for 14 years.
Wow.
And he met him, and they treat him like he's their own.
Oh, see, this is great. Yeah, it really is wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Really great outcome.
It is,
Now, I know you had, we have a video.
Yes, we do.
Performance of yours. Why don't we take a look at the video now? And then we'll come back and we'll chat about that, and we'll talk about some of your other roles and your upcoming show with Dorothy Bishop.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Video by Michael L. Walters.
No one holds court like Dame Edna.
Dame Edna Everidge.
Dame Edna.
Dame Edna. Dame Edna.
Dame Edna.
And now, I'm back! That's right. Michael Walters takes the stage by storm in a loving tribute to your favorite diva from down under.
My gynecologist looked up this afternoon and said, Edna, why do you give so much?
After 20 years of laughter, critics still can't get enough.
Thank you, darlings. That's so good.
Audiences are falling in love all over again with that famous saucy Aussie.
You have a beautiful bone structure, 2 eyes, a nose in the middle. Doesn't suit everybody, but it's the best part.
So act fast and see the only tribute show of its kind anywhere in the world.
Give it a try. You've got nothing to lose.
You never know what'll happen when this dame hits the stage, so
book now, laugh later.
There we are.
What a great piece. And Michael was telling me his husband put it together for him. That is a really good, what we call sizzle.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really shows your
sweet, entertaining, shows your range. It's it's a certain craft to be able to do that.
He's very good. My partner is a real wonderkind, really. I mean, he's was the hair and makeup supervisor for Funny Girl on Broadway.
Oh, I love it.
And he does the Edna wigs. He does the Santa Claus beard. And oh my God, there's anything I wear, he touches, and anything that promotes me, he does.
Now, one last thing on the Dame Edna presentation and your impersonation of her is talking to the audience. A lot of it is spontaneous. How in the hell do you do that? I couldn't do that.
It's a miracle, to be honest with you. But I will tell you a wonderful thing is the most wonderful things come out of the spontaneous.
Yeah.
I agree. Some of the most wonderful things come out of that. And a lot of the stuff, believe it or not, and I'm basically pulling back the curtain, showing you the wizard, is canned. I mean, because I know what someone is going to say when I ask them a certain question. I mean, there's certain things
from doing this for so long.
You just know that this is what's going to happen. And if it goes a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, you can steer it back.
Right.
That's a real.
Now, have you ever had anybody get pissed at you at something you've said?
God, yes.
Are you kidding?
God,
I
yes.
can't anybody? Oh God, how can anyone get pissed at Tim? It's such a funny character. Is it the sarcasm?
It's sometimes, and the funny thing is that I've realized, and we all know this, is that insult comedy is kind of, well, it is. It's the Don Rickles.
I mean, Don Rickles, right?
Dame Edna is a combination of Don Rickles and Margaret Thatcher in a dress, you know. And so the funny thing is that it's people are a little bit more sensitive now than they used to be.
Oh,
used to be they little. A little. I know. I'm being incredibly sarcastic again. It's just,
they can't take a joke now. I understand what you're saying. You really have to be careful. You know.
And you kind of watch yourself, and then I found myself even in these days pulling punches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find myself not going for the jugular when it would be very easy to do so.
Based on instinct.
Just based on instinct.
But that's called reading your audience, Michael, and that's a smart thing for a performer to be able to do.
You have to read the room, and you
got to read the room, right?
Yeah.
And that's a tough thing to do. That's a tough thing to do.
Because there are some times when you just, you want to so bad, you want to go for that.
Right.
I mean, there are people, you know, my favorite thing to do is I will do this as Edna. I'll say, pardon me, I've got a little something here for you. Shh. And, you know, I'll do that. And sometimes I'm like, you're making a huge mistake because I have the microphone and you don't.
Right.
And
but that is, I'm sorry, that is all light and funny stuff. There is it's a character.
Yes, it's a character, and people sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't, and you just you find out what
works and
what works and what doesn't.
What
you know,
it's also you become a little more sensitive to the different types of people,
but to
and
Tim's
how far
point,
you can go and how far you and when you have to.
What Tim said before, have you noticed, like in these times, it's a little harder to push that envelope?
It is, and but the funny thing is that there are times like with Dorothy Bishop's show that I'm doing on the 27th. I'm getting that plug in again, Dorothy,
at 7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock. At the
Triad Theater,
Upper West Side, 72nd Street.
Number one train, or
number one, number two, number three. You can go the 1, 2, 3. Any of the red lines, you'll get you there.
You're from out of town because you call them red lines. Go on.
It's okay. So the 1, 2, 3, whatever. But you know, that's the other thing is that you find out when you're working with an audience. Dorothy lets her audience go a little crazy, especially on the Halloween shows. So I don't pull the punches as much. I feel like I don't have to.
Oh, because you can give it up to her.
Oh, right? Yeah. And we've got some fun things planned. I'm not going to give it away, but I mean, there's a Joan Crawford, Betty Davis moment in the show.
Oh my God.
And we're going to have some fun. We're really.
How long have you and Dorothy worked together for?
Dorothy and I have known each other. We met through Jessie Luttrell.
Okay, the fabulous Jessie. Hi, Jessie.
We met through Jessie, and I was actually renting Dorothy's basement as an Airbnb when I was up here working on the Honeymooners musical, and little by little, we became very good friends, and she adopted her dog Luther, the singing Chihuahua.
The whole story, she found Luther on the beach in Mexico. We all know Luther. He's amazing.
I found my dog the same year in Mexico. His name is
my God.
Do you have a Chihuahua?
Yeah, I have a Chihuahua.
Oh my God, I have a Chihuahua also. We're all Chihuahua people.
Chihuahua
you got to get a Chihuahua. So you got your dog the same year. Does yours sing?
Mine does not sing. Mine is the anti-Chihuahua because he is the most chill, quiet dog. He doesn't. The only time he barks is when someone knocks at the door.
Yeah, same.
And he hears keys rattling. That's his other thing.
That'll set him off.
But he is the most relaxed dog.
Yeah.
And it's like every time he gets around Luther, he's like, leave me alone.
Luther is hilarious, because his face, Luther's like this. He's like on here. Yeah, like he's just ready for you. Yeah.
Like I could take on a pit bull.
But when she puts up those videos on TikTok with Luther is singing or Dorothy's practicing,
he used to close her show. She would bring him in and she would sing, she'd go into some opera, and he'd just,
Well, the funny thing is that she told me, you know, he stopped performing for her. So he gets me or Jesse. She gets me or Jesse to sing in a baritone, and the dog will go crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, river, you know, I'll start singing, and it's just very funny. Oh, another thing, I just thought this is just an interesting tidbit. My partner and I met on Facebook 14 years ago. We met on Facebook. He saw me, my profile picture was me as Dame Edna, and he thought, well, isn't that interesting? And so he messaged
somebody I'd like to go out with.
It wasn't that at all. It was very interesting. We just met, and we met on Harvey Firestein's Facebook page.
Stop.
Oh, my goodness.
How that's amazing. And you were totally in Dame Edna.
No, on the profile picture.
On the profile picture. I love it.
And so we just started chatting, and little by little, we fell in love. And
what a great story. And he does wigs. So
yes, he does the hair.
Yeah.
And he's quite something else, to be honest with you. I'm very, very lucky to have found him.
Yes, absolutely.
He found me.
And he found you. And the two of you can collaborate, which is amazing.
So now, other than Dame Edna, tell us about some of your other impersonations.
Jackie Gleason. I actually was cast in the Honeymooners musical here. A friend of mine heard that they were doing it and knew I did Gleason and was like, you need to be seen for this. And I didn't have any connections up here. I knew no one, but a friend of mine who was actually playing the role that I would eventually play said, well, let me introduce you to Jerry Mitchell, or make the introductions. So they said if I wanted to fly up on my dime, I could do it. So I walked in wearing a suit with the carnation in the lapel, as Jackie Gleason used to. And I started talking like this. And I was, how you doing, pal? Nice to meet you. And and then they had me read, and I would do it. All right, Alice, one of these days. Oh. One of these days.
You do it so well.
And,
wait, come back.
Sorry.
Have a drink. No, you're good. Oh, of course, you were doing the Jackie Gleason voice. It's like that is a deep picture.
Oh my God, that's
do that. Yeah. It's perfect.
Move in a little bit more.
Yeah, just move in a little bit.
More. Sorry.
There we go.
Listening support, but that's incredible.
Yeah. So Jackie Gleason and what are some others that you might?
I used to do all the Muppets. I don't do them much anymore because I've gotten out of practice. But I
can you do Cookie Monster? Just
give us. Yeah.
It tickles.
No, I find these live streams make your throat tickle.
Do you do Kermit and Miss Piggy at all?
Take your time. Well, Tim and I can talk amongst ourselves.
Well, I hack myself to death.
just don't die on camera. Tim, we never had anybody like expire on camera or pass out on camera.
No.
I'm making him look even more.
Oh God!
Don't laugh so hard.
Try not to.
It's all good. It's all good.
I used to do Kermit the Frog here. This is Kermit. Yay! I used to do that. I did Geez there. I did Archie Bunker.
Oh, you can do all of these.
And I did. Oh Lord, they're just
so I have to ask you. Do you know Jim Meskimen?
No.
Okay, so he does impressions. He's out in LA. I thought you might know each other. So people hire you for voiceover work
sometimes.
Too.
Yes.
Yeah, these are great.
Sometimes I get hired for voiceover work, and I used to do, if I don't choke again doing it,
be careful.
I used to do the in a world where this happens. I used to do that guy for commercial. Do it? No, the guy who used to do the movie, Don LaFontaine was his name. He's gone now too.
He's gone, yeah.
And he used to do the in a world where dynamite is going to explode. I don't know. I couldn't.
Rod Serling?
Rod Serling, I don't do.
You could though, because it's not all that. Listen to me. You could do Rod Serling. You could do Rod Serling. Don't hold back, Michael.
I'd have to work on it a little bit, but I basically.
It comes so natural to you. It's amazing.
It was weird. It was a weird thing because I sat in front of the TV as a kid for so long.
Yeah.
And would just impersonate what I heard.
Well, we call it the electronic babysitter, but
Yep,
there's
yep.
something to be said for it.
What about Mrs. Wiggins on Carol Burnett?
Mrs. Wiggins, can you come in here for a minute? Mr. Tudball.
Mr. Tudball, that was it.
Yeah, Mr. Tudball, yes. They said, that's just a stupid woman. You know,
well, okay, musical theater. So you've done, let me see, you mentioned Tevye, you mentioned Albin, Zaza, and Lacage, the Padre, and
Little Shop.
The government, the governor of Texas in Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Yes.
Max Ballystock.
Max Bialystock was
of course I screwed that
it's
name
one of my
up.
favorites. One of my favorites.
I was going to ask you,
the
like, what are
producer.
some of your favorites?
I love doing Tevye. I'm not Jewish, but
You have a feel for
but
it.
I have a feel for it. And Max Bialystock, I absolutely love doing that part. And Zaza and Lacage. I mean,
that's like such a great role, right?
I've done nearly 500 performances of Lacage. I wound up doing two runs of it that ran for quite a while.
And did you start out as a Disney performer in Disney World?
I actually,
that's right. You worked at Disney World, right?
Yes, and I wound up going to an audition, a what they call group auditions, where they,
was it an open call for regional?
For regionals, you know, where all the theaters come in, and Disney came to this one, and they were interested in me for a couple of things, and I wound up going in and doing Streetmosphere, what they called at the MGM studios, where you had all the Hollywood types walking around and doing improv games and stuff. And I did that. And I was not the best improv person at the time.
That's tough too, because you have tourists from even when you were saying that's very tough.
Yeah. And so finally, after a year of doing that, I went to do Holidays Around the World at Epcot. I wound up doing several of the different convention shows and things like that, and then I moved into the Hoop-Dee-Doo, which is
my favorite, Tim. Hoop-Dee-Doo.
It's the longest running dinner show in the world. I mean, it's been running for, they're coming up on their 50th anniversary.
I love it.
Very soon. 50 years of doing the Hoop-Dee-Doo, and I did it for free.
And that's at Disney World.
Yeah, this is at Disney World.
My
other favorite was Country Bear Jamboree. The Country Bear. I'm a big Disney person. I totally love Disney.
But the Hoop-Dee-Doo, I'm not familiar with. Is that in Magic Kingdom? Oh goodness!
Don't die.
No, you won't die talking about the Hoop-Dee-Doo. What a great.
Take your time.
To have to be able to do. You can have some of my water. I only
I've still got some.
Okay, good. You go for it. Tim, have you been to Disney World?
Oh, many times. I used to.
It's amazing. I mean, to be able to perform there for people from that come from all over.
Yes.
And for me, it's total fantasy. My favorite place are the pavilions in Epcot. I love all of them.
Mm-hmm. I like to ride.
The rides,
The rides are fun.
I remember when Space Mountain was built, and that was like the biggest thing, the biggest attraction ever.
Disney Trivia, they had to rebuild it because I don't know if you remember either you in the beginning, but people were getting injured. They were getting huge black and blues. Because I know I went on it 5 times on one weekend.
In the dark. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. So you did Country Bear Jamboree.
Well, the Hoop-Dee-Doo, not the Country Bear.
Right. I'm sorry, Hoop-Dee-Doo.
What was where was the Hoop-Dee-Doo? Where was that at?
The Hoop-Dee-Doo is at Fort Wilderness. It's one of the resorts, and
it's off premise.
I see. Yeah. So it's in the Disney World complex, not in the
not in the park.
Fort Wilderness is one of my favorite places. You can get those log cabins. They have little cabins. It transforms you. You think you're in another world.
It's something else. So I did that, and then I moved from there to Finding Nemo, the musical, and not Finding Nemo, the musical, and I wound up doing Bruce the Shark, which is interestingly Barry Humphrey's role in the movie. Dame Edna, his role in the movie.
And this was all before the Dame Edna stuff.
This is before. No. This was during the Dame Edna stuff.
Are you during the Dame?
Yes. As a matter of fact, my audition for Finding Nemo was me as Dame Edna interviewing Bruce the shark in an aquarium.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. I would kill to just have that as a sketch.
And then I sang.
That is creative.
I went into Feed Me from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
And
that is creative. That's very
That's how I landed the role. And I showed Barry Humphries a picture of me as Bruce, and he looked at me very wryly and said, "Tell me, are there any of my other roles you'd like to play?" And which I thought was hilarious. But
he was just kidding, though.
No, of course, of course. But it was a real blessing to be able to work for Disney for the time that I did. And of course, as with every job, I had some memories there that I would not trade for the world.
Incredible,
and some memories there that stunk on ice.
Yeah, right. That's
I
true.
heard that show, Stunk on Ice. Stunk on Ice. Stunk on Ice. How did you end up coming up here?
That's an interesting story. My partner wanted more so than anything to come up here and start working in the hair and wig world. You know, he thought that was something that he wanted to do, and he said, "And you belong there, Michael. You need to get up there."
What is the supportive partner?
And so we wound up working on this Santa Claus thing that I do now. I've done Santa for almost 30 years. And I stopped doing Santa for a while just because it's tough. There's a lot of emotional drain on you when you're doing it, because you run into kids who are kids of divorce. You run into run into special needs children and some special needs adults. And it's a lot of pressure
on you as the character of Santa, because Santa makes dreams come true.
Yep. And you have to be all things to all people. You know,
right.
That is a real hassle. I mean,
now is that like being Santa at Macy's, or is it on stage, or
it's more on stage than on stage and doing private home visits and all that stuff. Me, my friend Joseph, and Doug, my partner, we started a company called Live Santa Calls during the pandemic. And what we did was we did Zoom calls basically, but we used StreamYard, as you guys do here. And
that is so genius.
And we asked for a nominal amount for me to go in and do an 8 to 10 minute phone call with the kids, find out and I had a dossier beside me of each person that I talked to, so I knew what they wanted. I knew the names of their pets. I knew all of the stuff.
That's a long time. 8 to 10 minutes. With Tim, with a stranger, even with having the dossier next to you.
You'd be amazed with the kids how they are. They just, yes, Santa, I have a question.
That is so. How brilliant is that? How did you get your clientele for that? How did you advertise it?
We did Facebook, and
this is so brilliant.
We did all sorts of things to get it out there, and we wound up making enough money off of it the first year we did it during the pandemic 2020 to move up here in February of 2021.
Sweet. I mean, is this not the best story in the world? Wow.
Now, where did the singing? Don't you sing as Santa?
Yes, I sing as Santa as well. So I'll sing. I'll get them to do Christmas carols with me, or sing a little verse of "I'll Be Home for Christmas" or something, and teach them a song, that kind of thing. And this year I'm going back into doing live appearances as Santa, as well as some of the calls.
Wow.
So I'm going up to a wonderful place, a Victorian mansion in Saratoga called the Mansion.
Oh, I know where that is.
You know the Mansion?
Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. Is it a special event?
I've done Dame Edna up there for them many, many times in their concerts, their concert series. And I am I'm going to do their carols, cookies, and cocoa.
See.
It's gonna be something else. They've already sold out completely. All the tickets.
Nice.
That's a lot of energy, though. In many ways, it's much easier, right, to be on stage doing A Dozen Divas or any of these musicals where you get up there and you do your thing, than to have to be interacting with people for X amount of hours. It's a lot. It's a real.
It is. But doing the Disney thing, the improv on the streets, that kind of
set you up.
Got you set up for doing that.
Right. And it won't be 95 degrees either.
No. Wearing wool suits.
Wearing
wearing a wool suit, which was always fun.
We have a bunch of comments.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, let's see who.
Let's visit our comments here.
Oh,
So, of course,
welcome, Claudia from Germany is here. I love B. Hi.
Jesse
Tim, I'm not very
Luttrell.
good at scrolling. So
Jesse Luttrell says his house is full of Ursulas.
He would know.
And who would know better than Jesse Luttrell, who just got back from doing a show?
Yeah, Dracula.
I'm not good at scrolling either.
It's weird on my computer. I need to go into the Apple store.
But B asked how did he find out he can do so many? Just dumb luck. Luck. Just I mean, sometimes I'd hear a voice that just pinged with me, and I would just start doing it. And Apollonia up there at the top, she said something about that she's grateful I'm carrying on the Dame Edna.
Thank you,
tradition.
Apollonia.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Apollonia, I used to be friends on Facebook, but I have, as happens with a lot of people, my profile disappeared, and which was just
that
crazy.
happened to my husband. He had a it's terrible. I know.
So I lost so many friends and people that I have not heard from and wondered what happened to so and so.
Well, see, that's why it's great that you do this show, because here you are today, and Apollonia can reconnect with you.
Absolutely.
And let's see, Sabine, Claudia. Thank you for the info about the show today. I guess that's one of your friends. He was Shark. She said
he was the shark.
You were the shark, right? B. Claudia loves Bruce the Shark.
Yes, I did too. I talk like this,
Did you read
food?
Did you read Justin Gooding?
No, we can't see it on our end.
Cases. I love your show so much. Thank you for all the fabulous and fascinating interview, or this fabulous and fascinating interview with Michael Walters. All the best from your fan. All the best from your fan, Justin, aka Gladiola Glad Rags. Oh,
Gladiola, thank you. Yes, and Gladiola's going to be coming on one of my other shows.
I adore Gladiola's my favorite.
I do too. We all did a film together. We just did. What's the name of it again?
Drag to Death.
Drag to Death, and all of us are in it, including Gladiola. So stay tuned. Sue is on here. Sue's Val Generous, a wonderful designer. Love this show. We love you, Suze. Man, you do beautiful costumes. She's so fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Who else have you got on there, Tim? That
B. Claudia.
I got B. Claudia.
Okay. Sabine.
Yep. I think we hit them, and if we didn't get you this time, we'll get you the next time. Thank you, our audience.
Here, Jesse. Michael Luisi says, "Love you."
Oh, Michael, love Michael Luisi. Oh. Yeah, we love having people in our chat room. We crave attention, just like the guests that we have on the show.
And Apollonia said, "Good afternoon, Wendy, Tim, and the incredible Michael."
Oh, well, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Apollonia.
And she also says it's a blessing for the world that Michael Walters is keeping Dame Edna's legacy alive.
No, that's sweet.
And you know what? I agree, because there's people like me that don't know the Dame Edna past. This is the reason we need some people that carry on the torch. I really didn't know. I can't be reading every obit because people are dropping like flies these days.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Every time you turn around. So you keep the torch burning, and Lord knows everyone loves Jackie Gleason.
Yes, Jackie Gleason's life. Where are you going, Tim?
Oh, he'll be back. Scotty just beamed him up for a minute, and we just have another comment. Great conversation. Thank you, B. Claudia. We always love you.
I had to get my charger, otherwise I would have went away and not come back. So.
No, and that can happen in the wonderful world of streaming, ain't it, Grant?
Yes. But I think I'm safe now. I'm good now.
So,
so what have you got coming up?
On a personal level, you told me you're taking a cruise.
Yes, my partner and I. He's never been on a cruise, and since Funny Girl closed, he had saved up enough and said, "We're going on a cruise." And I said, "Okay, I guess we're going on a cruise."
I love it.
And so we're going to St. Thomas, St. Martin, St. Kitts. We're going to Curacao and Aruba, and leaving from Brooklyn and coming back through Fort Lauderdale. So
nice. Right? Could be in
now, you're not performing though. You're not performing.
No.
Chilling. Just
Good.
chilling, right?
That's what we
This is
need.
actually the first time in our 14 years together that we have taken a vacation.
Right.
We've never
Wow.
taken every other vacation that we have taken has been a working vacation.
Yeah.
Right.
It's largely like that.
Mhm.
And for me, I got 9 days this summer in Alaska. I haven't had 9 days in.
I know. I saw the pictures.
Right, but we're not like normal people.
Yeah.
Like my friends that get 3-week vacations, or people get vacation time. For
That would
me,
be
it's
nice.
like, oh my God, I'm going to miss the job.
Yep.
And inevitably, when I book that ticket, don't you think I get called for something? I could
Of
be
course.
sitting around watching the dust bunnies, and the minute you buy that plane ticket, somebody's going to
Somebody
call
says,
to hire you.
Well, that's the whole thing
Yeah.
with booking these Santa things.
Of course.
We have people who all of them want the same date.
Of
And
course.
so we're trying to, and some of them we've already committed to, so we can't, even if it's more money, we can't back out.
Right.
And we wouldn't.
Right. Of
You know,
course.
it's just not the
because we make a commitment as a professional. You make a commitment.
Yeah.
Well, your trip is after the Santa stuff.
No,
right?
no, our trip is before. Our
you
trip
get your
actually-
energy.
Yeah, our
good.
trip is actually the 4th of November through
Lovely.
the 14th of November.
Beautiful.
Nice.
10 days.
10 days.
10 days. Bon voyage,
Exactly.
Michael.
Tell everybody again about Dorothy's show and your appearance in it.
Yes, Dorothy's show is the 27th of October at the Triad.
A Dozen
It's a
Divas.
Dozen Divas show. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a Halloween costume contest. There's Dorothy doing her thing, which is hilarious.
Which is many things. She's so
there's
funny.
Dame Edna will be there doing her shtick, and which is the first time that I have performed as Edna since Barry has passed away.
Oh wow!
So as Desi Arnaz would say, you got a lot of splaining to do.
No, I didn't realize that.
Are you going to come back as the ghost of Dame Edna?
No. If Gary Humphries is dead, Dame Edna's perfectly alive.
And well.
And
living in New York.
That is the thing that I think that is, we wanted to write a song for my Dame Edna show, which I will be doing at the Triad. I don't know when yet. But I will actually do a one-woman show, one woman show. And we wanted to write a song, have Rick Crum or Fred Barton or somebody write it for us called I'd Love to, but I'm dead.
I can't.
I can't because I'm dead.
I can't because I'm dead. And that is a real excuse. Michael, you have just been totally delightful.
Thank you very much.
I love you from when I saw you on stage. And then we talked a little after that last show I saw you in. And I said, oh, we'd love to have you on the show. And Michael actually took the bull by the horns and contacted me because I am overwhelmed and inundated with people. If you want to be on the show and we talked, I mean, please reach out to me. I do get back to everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And she will.
And I will.
Believe me.
I wish I could say for the people I send emails to.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Yes,
you
Tim.
said that was on the 28th or the 26th?
The 27th.
27th.
Okay.
Friday night, the
Friday night, the
27th is the
27th.
same night as Don Arrington's. I have a double header that night.
Oh,
I will be in the
I
audience.
will see if I can get there. I will
That would be
definitely.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Yeah, we would love to have you.
Yeah, it's such a fun show. Such a fun show. Well, yeah, Michael
thank you.
Walters, thank you so much.
I'm
for
so
taking
sorry
the
I
time.
hacked and coughed through 5 minutes.
Oh
ago.
no, that happened to me one time. I was just choking to death, and there's nothing you can do. But there's okay. This is what I think. There's something with streaming that makes you choke.
Yeah,
you heard it right here. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying anything, but there's something about streaming that makes you choke. Thank you, everybody, for who tuned in today. Thank
Michael
you,
Walters. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
These walls could talk. Thank
Yes,
you.
and we'll see you all next week. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.